Hey there, my name is Zach and welcome to the Farm Table West YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be filming the first of hopefully many farm tours of our vegetable farm here in Cody, Wyoming, which is zone 4B. And today is a really windy day, so it's a good day to be inside doing stuff because it's about 15 to 20 mile an hour winds and purely sunny, which is kind of tricky for venting in here because it gets super hot, but it also could blow the whole greenhouse away. So I got to be a little careful with that. And this is a brand new high tunnel that we've built got done with it about October of 2022. And I've already filmed a couple videos explaining the whole geothermal system, which you can see behind me. That's the output of our pipes that are pumping air under the ground 6 feet deep and out, and it keeps it about it pumps out about 60-degree air at night, which is really cool. It allows us to grow cool stuff like these tomatoes that you see here. But yeah, today I just wanted to go over what we got growing on and show you around because it's starting to be kind of exciting, and I'm hoping to do one of these a month this entire growing season because I'm doing a couple experiments that I want to track, and I think the rest of the internet will love to see some of the stuff we're doing. The first thing that is something I am insanely excited about that I want to show you is our electroculture trial. And if you've not heard of electroculture, it's going to be super viral this year, I think, on YouTube and the whole internet. But basically, well, actually, let me just show you. That's easier. I gotta walk over there, or actually here, I got a little electroculture going on right here. So this is basically just a stick with a 10 gauge bare copper wire wrapped around it clockwise, and stuck 6 inches into the ground near the tomato plants. Here, there you go. So there's the whole rig, and that stick is stuck about 6 inches deep, and we got tomato plants right next to it. And this is late April, by the way. So if you're in zone 4B, you know that that's really early to have tomatoes looking like this. It's super cold here every winter pretty much, and we had stuff growing in here in the winter and it was negative 35 this year. This year was really bad. So we flipped all that stuff and put in tomatoes about a month ago, and they're doing really well. We have been heating with propane in here too. So I got a little propane heater, pretty small though for this big of a greenhouse. That's only a 60,000 BTU heater, and this is a 48 by, so it's not very much propane basically, because if we were, the geothermal's cutting a lot of that propane cost down, which is awesome because propane's very expensive. So I've been heating it, keeping it at 55 in here for about about a month now, and it's only cost $500 or $600. But anyway, let me finish that electroculture thing because that's what I'm super excited about. So the idea is that whole antenna is like 2 feet off the ground right now, and it's gathering the Earth's electricity from its magnetic field and pumping that electricity into the roots of the plants. And that's about all I understand of it. Basically, I've seen videos on TikTok and the internet in general to show me that there's something to this, and I needed to try it because every video I saw, there was an antenna like that next to a bunch of pea plants or something, and then 5 feet away there's no antenna, and the pea plants were like this tall and they were almost dead away from the antenna. And it's not just one video, there's hundreds of them. So I was real excited and I had to try it. So we've got 3 of those little antennas in here. Here's another one. And supposedly the taller you go, the better the effect is. And it's like the radius around the stick is what the effect of the electricity is. And so with these particular sticks, I've only had them in here for, I think, maybe 2 weeks now, and I can't say I'm seeing any difference yet. I know some people are seeing difference in growth like 2 weeks into it, but there's a lot to it. You know, there's a lot more going on in here than just electroculture. So to give it a little background on Farm Table West, we're about a quarter-acre, half-acre vegetable market farm. So I'm selling these vegetables. These aren't just for me to eat. So I'm selling these at the farmers market and restaurants and food hubs and all sorts of stuff around northern Wyoming. And so that's the context of this. This is way more food than you'd want for a family or something. But so this is a business, and so I'm kind of just goofing around with the electroculture. I'm not going super hardcore on it because I have to make money with this ground, but I'm still trying it. I'm going to try it all over the farm this year. And there's a lot of factors going on with each one of these plants. So this is my first time growing early tomatoes or early any kind of summer crop like cucumbers or summer squash, and it's a lot trickier than just growing them at the right time of year, because I've had to figure out heating in here, which is something you can't really read in books. You just have to do it, especially because we have this geothermal thing. And so it's taken me about a month to figure out how to heat this right. So there's been a couple of issues where I've burned plants by letting it get too hot or let it get too cold. So that's why I'm not really, the electroculture is going to take a good couple months to figure out if it's working or not. But actually, all that considered, the stuff in here is going pretty well. So that's the electroculture. We're going to be doing that all season in all of our greenhouses in the field. But this is the earliest crops we're going to be pulling out the whole year. So it's a good place to first test it out. But thought I might as well just give you a little bit of a tour of what's going on in here otherwise. So yeah, like I said, we got 4 rows of tomatoes in here. These are 40-foot rows, so this is a pretty small production greenhouse. This is actually our nursery, so I really just wanted to start getting some crops early in here, and because I don't need a whole lot of nursery space, but this is going to be the long term, will be all just plant starts. But we got tomatoes in here, we've got cherries, and heirloom slicers, and lots of just regular beefsteak slicers. And they're all greenhouse varieties, basically, which I wish I didn't have to grow those, but unfortunately I've tried a couple of real heirlooms, and it's just tricky to get the kind of yields that I need to make money. I would love to be able to grow all the heirloom tomatoes that you see in Baker Creek, but that's really where my heart is. I can't wait to be able to do that and just have a homestead garden for myself, but I'm not quite there yet. But yeah, basically this is the cherry row. You'll see these are like a foot taller than all the other ones because cherries just grow a lot faster. And then over here is kind of a mixture of the heirlooms and the slicers, because I kind of got it mixed up when I planted. And here's, I think, just slicers. I got it all mixed up because it's, to be honest, it's just hard to, when you've got a big group of plants like this over here. This is our next batch of tomato that is going to go in our unheated high tunnel right next door. But this is like 280 plants right here. So I didn't bother to take the time to label every single plant. I just kind of put a label like right there, and it's like one label per flat or something. So it gets mixed up a lot, but I just try to keep the slicers and the cherries separated because they grow a lot differently. Those cherries over here will grow 15-20 feet long by the time the season's over, and the slicers will be like, I don't know, 5 feet less than that or something. Just a lot less. They grow a lot less vegetative. Oh, and then over here we got our earliest cilantro and dill. So I got a bunch of inner plants going on underneath the tomatoes, because when you're paying for the heat, it just makes sense to get as much crops in here as you can. And we've been harvesting here for a good month now, and almost done actually. Going to start harvesting from the other tunnel soon. And oh, let's see here. I also got beets transplanted about a month ago, and these are just about to be picked this week, I think. So we got summer squash, early summer squash in the middle there, and cucumbers in the middle here, and then beets on the other side. And they're almost ready, just about like 99% done. So I'm pretty excited about that, because that's hard to get early. And we've tried transplanting them this year. I've never done that before, but it definitely shaves a good couple weeks off your harvest time. And then this is my first time ever growing vertical cucumbers like this. So this is gonna be pretty cool. I hear that taking off the fruit from the first 3 feet helps them produce longer. But I'm not sure. I'm gonna try that out. We'll see. I've got a couple that I just left the fruit on to see what happens. But yeah, I think, I don't know, like I said, I've never done this before, but hopefully these will be done like late May, and I'll start being able to pick them late May, in about a month from now. And then I think these summer squash will be ready a lot earlier. I don't know. I've grown them outside a lot, so usually when they're starting to fruit like that, that means they should be right around the corner. But it's tricky. It's the light's a little bit different than it is when you plant in June outside. The day length, so it's a little bit less. I'm not sure. They seem to be growing a little bit slower, but kind of expect that with most spring planting of everything. So, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about what's going on in here. We've got this is a pretty fancy high tunnel. We put roll-up sides on either side, which is the first time I've had that, and that's really cool. It keeps it really cool in here. You could control the temperature really well. I think it's like 65 outside and pure sun, like full sun. And we have, I think our sun's a little more intense here than, because we're up in the mountains. We're at like 5,000 feet elevation. So it's only 75 in here, and it's in the other greenhouse, it's probably 90, 91 at least, because the sun's so intense, it heats it up real quick. And so windy today, I'm hesitant to like open, to vent it all the way, because it just makes me nervous with this whole thing lifting up. When the wind's howling, whipping through here, it can lift up and blow away. And I have concrete on some of the end posts, which helps. And all of these posts are, I think they're 3 feet in the ground, and our ground is pretty tough, so I don't think it really would blow away. But it just makes me nervous, because this was a lot of work to build, and I don't want it to blow away. I want it to stay in one spot for a while. Oh, and I should go over this too. So this is our nursery, and yeah, this is pretty much the fullest it's ever going to be throughout the whole season, I think. Actually, it's almost past the fullest. But yeah, we got early basil going on here, and some backup tomatoes, peppers. This is our truckload of tomatoes. We're only going to plant about 240 of these, but there's a lot of the same stuff I mentioned before, and we're doing some paste, Granadero paste tomatoes too. Those really produce well. These are cabbages. That's my first time ever growing cabbage. I've seen some people do really well on planting those kind of densely. So we got they're really small, like 1 pound cabbages. I forget what the names of them are, but they're all at Johnny's Seeds, and those are supposed to be cool. I'm excited about that. I always like to try new things every year, a little bit. We got some celery, green onions, and then these are Hakurai salad turnips. I've tried transplanting them before, and they work really well. It shaves a good 2 weeks off the growth. And I only do that at this time of year where it's like super early spring. and then they'll be ready in a month. So I'm real excited about that. And then all of those green things basically are our onions, red, white, and yellow onions, and then tons of shallots. These are all shallots, multi-sown, like I think 2 or 3 seeds per cell, and that's a 100-foot row's worth of shallots. That's a lot. That was a real popular seller for us last year, which is cool. Then we got broccoli, lettuce, lots and lots of lettuce, mostly Salanova. We're gonna have, yeah, this is all Salanova, so like cut lettuce, and then beets, and basically lots of broccoli, a little bit of kale, parsley, and yeah, we had something eating all of our beets and lettuce the last 2 plantings, and I'm pretty sure it's a mouse. We got this cool mouse trap over here. This thing is so awesome. It's it doesn't actually kill the mice, but it see, there are mouse holes right there. But you put a little bit of peanut butter in the inside of that thing, they just walk right up, fall in the little black trap door, and you can catch like 4 mice in a night. It's awesome. It works really, really well. And then you just dump them outside, and we got cats next door that'll eat them. So I don't have to do any killing. It's awesome. Oh, and then this is our early basil, and everything in here is on drip irrigation too, because I couldn't really run a sprinkler in here. It would cause problems with all the electric stuff. And then our early celery too, so I have no idea when it's going to be ready. We'll see. Hopefully May or June. And these are our first transplants to go outside. Hopefully I'm going to transplant those in the field tomorrow. I could go over the field a little bit. I should do that, yeah. We'll go over the field too. And then this is a bunch of electrical stuff that I'm working on. I just got done putting in all of these fans and the exhaust fans in here and doing all the wiring. So that's why this electric stuff is here. And we're going to do the other greenhouse. I was actually hoping to do some of that today, but it's pretty hot. It's not fun to be on a ladder when it's like 90 degrees in there, and I just can't open it up a whole lot because a lot of bad stuff will happen with that plastic. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, and these fans, I'm a little new at venting in high tunnels. I've never even had an exhaust fan before, and I just got these put in Sunday, which was like 2 days ago, and I put 2 24-inch exhaust fans in here. Found out that it's way too much. It's like a tornado. When you turn them on, all of the walls like suck in, and air from every opening, it will just flush in here. It's weird. And it cools down the whole thing down like instantly, but I think it's too much. So I think I'm gonna take one of these down and put them in the other greenhouse, because it's like really overkill. But yeah, I couldn't really figure out how to size it right. It was just hard to figure out. And with all of the different things I got going on in here, it's not, I had to just do it and figure it out. But it was actually really hard to mount these things too. We had to rig up this pulley system to lift it up, because it's like 70-pound fan, and hold it in place and put the tech screws in. And yeah, it was like a circus. It was rough. But yeah, this is the nursery greenhouse, and yeah, we've got Electroculture right there, and that thing's like 3 foot tall. I just used a scrap wire I had lying around, basically. This is, oh wait, there's one here that's like 2 feet tall, and this one is 2.5. And you see this point on the top, that's pointing due north. North is over there, and I guess that helps, makes a big difference. And I mean, it's kind of weird. This one might actually be doing something, because these tomatoes right here, these are these 8 plants right here were planted a week after the ones on the end there, and they are the same height, which is kind of weird. But I'm not gonna really chalk that up to Electroculture yet, because I had a lot of problems with these plants. They got burned because I let it get too hot in here. and they're different variety too. So I'm not gonna get too excited too early, which is hard for me because I get excited about stuff like this. Obsessed with this. This is the first time I saw a video, I was obsessed. I saw this back in January, and I've been very impatiently waiting to try it until right about now, when stuff actually starts growing around here. Because we have a really short growing season here. We got 120-day growing season. So it's one of the shortest. Wyoming in general is about one of the shortest growing seasons in the country. Yeah, I'm sure Alaska has got some shorter spots, but it's pretty short. But yeah, I like it. It's actually cool because I know a lot of places get so hot where you can't even grow in August, and we have it really nice and mild in August, and tomatoes grow great, and we have a nice solid 120-day growing season. And the more and more I goof around with winter growing, it seems a lot longer than that, especially now. I mean, we're not even in our last frost date is May 21st here, average last frost, and it still could still freeze like first week in June, no problem. Snow first week in June. So it's pretty tough to grow the summer crops outside. That's why we always do greenhouse stuff, and that's why our nursery is such a big deal. We start everything ahead of time because it's such a short time period. And this is the first year I've had one, so I'm excited to be goofing around with that. It'll help try and get 2 crops a year everywhere. But yeah, that's this greenhouse. Let's show you some more of the farm real quick. All right, so now we're in the unheated high tunnel. So this I built a few years before that one, and basically the same thing, just only really cheap plastic on every end wall and the roof, so it's not there's no insulation in here or anything. It's just heats up during the day, keeps the ground warm kind of deal. But here's all of our early spring stuff, and this is definitely the greenest I've ever had it in here at this time of year. And that is mostly because we've had, I grew most of this stuff from starts, which helps a lot. So yeah, lots of lettuce and arugula, carrots. And let me show you what's going on here with why I don't want to open. So it's like 65 outside, but it was really windy earlier. It was way windier than now. It was like 25 mile an hour winds, which actually is not that bad for Wyoming. I'm in a pretty good spot for Wyoming. But you see those flapping black things? Those are straps that I keep the plastic on, but when you let too much air come in here, it kind of blows them away, and they break over time. Those ones are older, the rest of them are newer. So I found out that whatever I bought was really cheap, and definitely is not gonna last forever. So not a big deal. But yeah, the plastic did not get it very tightly put on here when I first did it, because it was the first time I've ever done the putting on the plastic thing, and that's pretty tricky. But these straps help a lot, so it doesn't really blow away. I've never lost the plastic yet, so hopefully I don't jinx myself with just saying that right now. But yeah, this is everything. What is it today? April 25th. Unheated, no heat ever added to this, and we've got all of this food about to come out. I'm gonna have a huge harvest day on Friday, and today's Tuesday, so a lot of this stuff's almost ready to go. These are the first Hawkeye salad turnips, and these things are amazing. They're super white, little white turnips, almost ready. But these things taste like apples. They're so sweet. They're not like any other turnip I've ever had. They're super popular at the market. These are beets, just basically red and golden beets, transplanted too, so they're really growing fast. And lettuce, basically more lettuce. These are tons of, I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty close to perfect carrot germination there. 4 rows. And yeah, that'll look a lot cooler in a month or so. But Oh yeah, and then here's our other electroculture. So I got 3 more of those antennas in the carrot row, because if stuff is gonna grow faster, I want it to be the carrots, because those take the longest. The rest of this stuff's super fast. I didn't really want to try it with that. I'm gonna try it with the tomatoes and stuff in here later, but so yeah, same thing, just stick and copper wire wrapped all the way up and down, same way as in the other greenhouse. And then we got radishes, French breakfast, and arugula is one of our top market crops. Sell a lot of this to restaurants, so we got 2 70-foot rows of that. So we go through 30 pounds a week selling to restaurants, and this was the very first cut of the year right here. I just did a couple minutes ago. And this is our Salanova lettuce. So those lettuce starts you saw earlier, this is like, they're almost ready to go. And this is kind of cool. I've seen I don't know if you know Never Sink Farm up in New York. That's where I've taken his farm course, and I've learned pretty much everything about farming from that guy. He's amazing. But he does this cool thing where he plants carrots in like December, and they germinate over the winter and grow, and you're supposed to get them in like April or May. And I've tried a couple times and haven't had that much success, but I think it was because partially it was just negative 35 in here, and they might have germinated and got frozen. Everything pretty much got frozen pretty bad, so I'm gonna keep trying that. But yeah, that's what the germination rate was pretty bad, so that's why I just planted again in this bed. But I was hoping to have carrots now. These are carrots. Who knows, I might actually still get some carrots out of it. But yeah, it's usually not good to leave the crop in there, but I just wanted to see if I get any carrots. Then we got spinach, parsley over here, cilantro, dill, bok choy, green onions, and these were done by transplant. I've never done that before. There's a couple of random carrots. I like having just random carrots lying around. It's a little snack when you're harvesting. Oh, and then this is really interesting. I've never had this many volunteer tomatoes before, because in Wyoming usually they don't live, but they've stayed alive in here just fine. This is a truckload of cherry tomatoes, volunteers from the last year, because I had cherry tomatoes in here last year. And yeah, I'm gonna have to cultivate those. That's gonna be an interesting, that shouldn't be too big of a deal. They're mostly in the pass. Got lucky there. But yeah, I actually got this, it was down to about, let's see, how cold has it gotten in here? Probably like, it got 8 degrees outside at one point with pretty much most of these crops in here. And basically what I did was, to keep them alive, I had all this row cover lying around from the winter and double covered the stuff because there's no heat in here. So that seemed to work really well. I don't think anything got frostbit at all. And it got really cold in here. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but usually if stuff gets frostbit, it gets stunted really bad, but everything in here is pretty much grown continuously since like late March. We planted stuff in here, and I was kind of nervous about that. I've never tried it, but it worked, and I'll probably keep doing that because I could tell it's worth it. These beets are really close to being ready, so stuff's been growing continuously, no hiccups or anything. So it's super hot in here though. This is why I don't want to hang out in here all day. But yeah, that's the unheated tunnel, and we'll have a lot more fun stuff going on in there later this year. But this is the outside. Hopefully you can hear me with the wind. It's definitely died down a lot. It's only like 5 miles an hour now. So that's the greenhouse number 1, the first one I built, and then this is what I call the calorie palace. And that's because this is where we store all the calories. It's where I wash everything, and yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear me with that air conditioner, but it's where I wash everything, and that's our walk-in cooler. So that's a cool bot system with the air conditioner and the CoolBot thing, which makes it run a lot colder. And this is our germination chamber where I germinate all our plants. See, there's a bunch of lettuce I just planted today. And then it's our root washing area where we wash all our roots. And those 2 tubs over there is where we just soak everything and get it wet, basically. And we have our well pump in here. It's super messy. I have a lot of cardboard. Where is that? Yeah. That are from boxes of all this stuff, basically. And can't really keep it outside right now because it will be in Nebraska by tomorrow. So I have to keep it in here until I get it to the recycling place. But yeah, this is kind of a boring spot, but this is where a lot of the magic happens on the farm. And then, see if you can hear me, I don't know. I'm gonna go over here. But not much going on in the field yet. I just started doing the bed prep stuff, but this is the field. And we're gonna be putting peat moss on it this year. I usually use compost, and I do have compost. We're gonna put some on, but it's really a pain to work it, to move it all by hand. If I had the ability to do it with a tractor or something, I probably would, but I just don't have a tractor right now, and it's tricky to get a tractor in here because everything's planted really dense. So we're doing everything basically no-till, no dig, whatever you want to call that, and broad forking everything, and putting in a little bit of compost, and peat moss is going to help a lot with the organic matter because the soil here is just concrete. Let me oh, here's some soil right here. This is basically what we got to work with, is this, which is just concrete. Most of Wyoming's like that, or either that or sandy. So yeah, you got to add a lot of stuff to our soil. But this is a, what is it, 4th year we've been growing in this field, and it's going pretty well now. I don't have to break my back to broad fork it anymore. But I don't know. I'll look in here and see what happens. But I put in this black weed mat around the perimeter this year, which I'm real excited about, because every year in the past I have grass and stuff growing in the fence line, which is real pain to deal with because it drops a lot of seed and stuff. Right around there, that whole fence line has got tons of grass growing in underneath this. So I gotta rip that all out. But yeah, that's basically the field so far. There's not much going on yet. I just prepped about 8 of our 40 beds out here yesterday. It's just been a really late spring, really late. Winter, I should say. But yeah, so we're just starting to get stuff rolling out here and trying to get it all planted by May 21st, we'll see. But this is kind of interesting. This is a bunch of spinach that just didn't die over the winter from like last October. That's pretty impressive because it was negative 35 here. Multiple times it was like negative 20. So that's cool. But yeah, that's basically it. There's not much else going on right now. But yeah, this is early April, and we'll have a lot more. Next time I film, it'll probably be all planted.